and there's no sympathy there.
Surprised at how well he fought.
Mike Tyson has just dropped bombshell first words after training Anthony Joshua, and the boxing world is reeling. At 58, Iron Mike is still shaping champions, and what he said about Joshua will shock even the toughest fight fans.
Yeah, the move. Whatever hand you hit, you move to that side.
This is raw, brutal truth, fire-forged advice, and a glimpse into a strategy that could rewrite the fight game.
So you rip it with everything you got. Keep your legs bent. Just rip it with everything you got. Don't care if you're tired.
Who make mistakes or believe they failed in a particular genre or just a particular instance, they beat themselves up. It's good to beat yourself up, but don't have limits.
The buzz around Anthony Joshua's latest training camp has been electric, and it's not just because he's preparing for Jake Paul. The real shocker is that Mike Tyson is in his corner, not as an opponent, but as a mentor. At 58 years old, Tyson stepping into a coaching role for a current heavyweight champ is the kind of headline that sends shockwaves through the boxing world.
Left hook, boom! You gotta think of throwing punches. Your job is to throw punches. Don't hold back.
You have to, in a way.
Joshua at 34 represents youth, speed, and raw power, but Tyson brings decades of experience, a mental edge, and a reputation for knockout ferocity that few have ever matched. The question on everyone's mind is clear. Could Tyson's old-school techniques and brutal ring wisdom be the secret weapon Joshua needs to dominate Jake Paul?
Jab, and you throw the body punch as hard as you can. They jab, boom, boom, boom.
Tyson's role in the camp was never about sparring. He didn't step in to throw punches at Joshua or make dramatic post-training statements. Instead, his focus was pure mentorship. For Joshua, this meant learning from one of boxing's most feared figures in history, absorbing every ounce of technique and strategy Tyson has honed over decades. The sessions emphasized legendary methods, neck rolls to strengthen the upper body, shoulder conditioning to withstand heavy blows, and old-school strength routines that demand discipline and endurance. Tyson's approach is intense but purposeful. Every drill is about more than physical performance. It's about building mental toughness and instilling a fighter's mindset.
When you jab, right, act as if you're taking out, you're stepping off a cigarette. See, watch my foot. See that? When I push it, it turns. Oh, right.
Media coverage of the camp captured the frenzy perfectly. Tyson's involvement turned what would have been a standard prep camp into a global spectacle. Journalists, analysts, and fans followed every detail, from the specialized drills to Joshua's transformation over the weeks. There was an unspoken understanding in the gym. Tyson's mentorship could shift Joshua's fight strategy in ways that even his opponents might not anticipate. Every repetition, every corrected stance, and every subtle adjustment carried the weight of decades of experience. And yet, despite the spotlight, Tyson remained focused on his role, patient, intense, and unwavering.
Ooh, you're doing a good job, brother. Doing a good job. No, let's just try and do the jab liver over first.
The training itself was grueling. Joshua's daily routine was pulled straight from the Tyson playbook, blending modern sports science with raw, explosive training methods. Each session pushed Joshua to extremes. Power punches were drilled relentlessly, building both strength and precision, neck and shoulder. Strengthening exercises became a cornerstone, improving stability and making his body more resilient against impact. Footwork and movement drills demanded constant focus, forcing Joshua to move with the speed and unpredictability Tyson once commanded in the ring. By the end of the camp, the transformation was visible. Trainers and media alike couldn't ignore the results. Joshua was stronger, faster, and more fluid, embodying a blend of modern athleticism and old-school boxing intensity.
He don't care if his mother in the ring, his brother in the ring, anybody in this ring, They have to feel the fury. That's just what it is. I don't care if my mother, my brother, don't get in here. Don't get in this ring. There's no sympathy there.
Beyond the physical conditioning, Tyson's impact on Joshua's mental game was just as crucial. The former champion is notorious for teaching more than just technique. He instills a mindset. Joshua had to learn to push past fatigue, doubt, and mental barriers.
There's nobody that's gonna show you any compassion in there, you know? That's just what I was told. Kill him before he kills you.
Tyson emphasized tactical awareness, encouraging Joshua to anticipate an opponent's moves, stay calm under pressure, and make split-second decisions that could decide the outcome of a fight. It's the kind of education that only someone who has faced the best and survived can offer. Every drill, every sparring observation was a lesson in thinking like a champion, reacting like a predator, and respecting the ring.
This is a 34-year-old Anthony Joshua. This is a terrifying human being. Terrifying.
Even the smallest details in the camp carried weight. Joshua practiced neck rolls, not just for physical strength, but to mimic the subtle head movements Tyson used to avoid punches and create openings for devastating counters. Shoulder conditioning routines were layered into every exercise, ensuring Joshua could throw power punches repeatedly without losing speed or form.
Boom, boom, boom. And you push everything you got, go straight to the bag, all right? Bend your legs when you punch. Yes.
Tyson also shared insights into stamina management, teaching Joshua how to conserve energy while maintaining explosive power over multiple rounds. These lessons weren't hypothetical, they were hard-earned strategies from a man who dominated the heavyweight division with precision, aggression, and unmatched ring intelligence.
Wish I was still champion, because you know I'll breathe life into this division, you know I'll bring excitement for sure. Because you know me, man, when I'm at the top, I take on all challenges, and once I'm there, it's gonna be a dream come true.
The intensity of the camp also extended to Joshua's psychological endurance. Tyson's style is demanding, and he doesn't tolerate shortcuts. Joshua faced drills that forced him to stay focused while under physical and mental pressure, mirroring the chaos of an actual fight. Every repetition was a test of endurance, discipline, and focus. And while Tyson's methods are rooted in his own era, they proved shockingly effective for a modern athlete like Joshua. The combination of historical insight, brutal conditioning, and tactical mastery created an environment where Joshua could evolve into a fighter with both the youth advantage and the psychological edge that only a legend like Tyson could provide.
6'6", not just 6'6", but 6'6", and knows how to use every fucking inch of it. Knows how to keep that stick in your face. He was keep that jab in his face, and that right hand, if it hits you, you're fucked.
The camp has already left an impression on Joshua, and the first words Tyson shared after the training hinted at a deeper respect. Tyson praised Joshua's willingness to learn, his discipline, and his capacity to absorb the lessons of a man who has faced the fiercest competition in boxing history. There's a subtle thrill in that mentorship, the sense that Joshua isn't just preparing for Jake Paul, he's being sculpted under the eye of one of the sport's most dangerous minds. And for fans, that's where the excitement lies, watching a younger champion integrate the ferocity, technique, and mental resilience of Mike Tyson into his own arsenal, creating a fighter who could challenge expectations in the ring in ways that few predicted.
Stamp it. Boom, boom. Keep moving your feet. Right.
When it comes to tactical genius in boxing, Mike Tyson is basically the walking, punching embodiment of chess on steroids. And during Anthony Joshua's camp, that brain of Iron Mike's went into overdrive. This wasn't just about throwing punches, it was about thinking 10 moves ahead while your lungs scream and your muscles beg for mercy. Tyson drilled into Joshua the core of his philosophy. Every movement matters, every feint is an opportunity, and defense isn't just about blocking, it's about manipulating your opponent's mind. Joshua wasn't just learning to throw harder, he was learning to anticipate, to read the smallest cues, and to turn even a glancing blow into a setup for something devastating.
He's not worried about you the way he's worried about Usyk. You can't move like Usyk. You can't constantly be frustrating and overloading his nervous system. Usyk is overloading every aspect of your senses at every moment.
Joe Rogan entered in noise with straightforward claims. Tyson's defensive nuances are the stuff of legend. That peekaboo style, the subtle head tilts, the explosive counters, all of it became part of Joshua's toolkit. But here's the kicker. Tyson didn't just want Joshua to copy moves.
Jab her on the back. Yeah,
He wanted him to think like a predator. That meant embracing the knockout mindset, the hunger to end a fight when the opportunity strikes, but also knowing when patience can flip the script. They ran drills designed to make Joshua react instantly to unpredictable attacks, almost like playing mental Jenga in a ring where a single wrong move could spell disaster. It was brutal, intense, and, according to Joshua, sometimes felt like learning to breathe underwater while juggling flaming weights.
And you're gonna go box him? And the toughest guy you fought before was 40 years old Anderson Silva? Those the toughest guys so far you fought? You've lost to Tommy Fury, who's a very good boxer, but this is a giant Olympic gold medalist heavyweight. I mean, Anthony Joshua is fucking
Here's the
terrifying.
thing that nightmares are made of.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. Tyson hasn't been one to hand out compliments lightly. He's blunt, he's merciless, and he's usually all facts over feelings. But when it comes to Joshua, he hasn't held back. Tyson publicly praised Joshua, calling him teachable, disciplined, and surprisingly quick to absorb complicated techniques. That might not sound like much, but coming from a man who has been through the trenches, beaten legends, and is famously hard to impress, it's practically a standing ovation in the boxing world. Tyson sees Joshua not just as a student, but as someone capable of carrying forward the old school boxing legacy. Someone who can learn, adapt, and potentially dominate with a mix of modern athleticism and Tyson's signature intensity.
And he's got that one punch nuclear power. One punch. And he's fast.
It's almost shocking to hear Tyson admit admiration. This is the guy who once terrified opponents with just a glare, the man whose words are usually as cutting as his. Right hook, and yet he's watching Joshua, nodding at his commitment and suggesting that this young fighter might be among the best proteges he's ever trained. That's a rare admission, a subtle bombshell that tells us Tyson sees real potential to absorb lessons quickly, apply them instinctively, and channel the aggression and intelligence that made Tyson himself a nightmare in the ring.
And if you want to show you're legit, by taking on one of the scariest fucking heavyweights alive.
Can you get the tail of the tape?
All of this matters because Joshua is stepping into the ring against Jake Paul. Let's break that down. Paul, 27, brash, confident, with a 10-1 record, has carved out a path that few traditional boxers follow. Former Disney star turned professional boxer, he skipped the traditional contenders and went straight for big fights, making him unpredictable and, frankly, a little chaotic. For Joshua, this is not a standard prep fight. Paul can move, can feint, can exploit gaps that other fighters might never even notice.
Try not to pull it back too far, right? Try this to do heat, okay? Come on.
And this is exactly where Tyson's input comes into play. By integrating his defensive nuances, knockout mindset, and tactical brilliance, Joshua gains an edge against that chaos. He's not just relying on strength and reach, he's learning to control the pace, anticipate Paul's moves, and strike with precision. The psychological edge is huge too. Knowing that he trained under one of the most feared heavyweights of all time gives Joshua confidence that's hard to measure, but impossible to ignore. Suddenly, he's not just a fighter, he's a young warrior carrying the ghost of Iron Mike into the ring. Here's a question worth asking, and it's the one that's on every fan's mind. Could Tyson's mentorship, his secret drills, and his mental coaching actually help Joshua land a knockout Paul never saw coming? The thought alone is enough to make anyone lean in. Tyson's aura, his experience, and the tactical secrets he's shared aren't just training, they're a strategic weapon. Joshua may be young, fast, and strong, but with Iron Mike's guidance, he's also smart, calculated, and ready for anything. The combination could be explosive.
So everyone back home would be like, oh, so what did you do on Thursday? You had the day off? And it's like, it's a day off, but it's a day off to get ready for the day on.
Damn. Fucking hell.
The camp has reshaped Joshua in ways the public is just beginning to grasp. Muscle memory meets mental strategy, old school aggression meets modern athleticism, and a young fighter learns from a legend whose very name sends shivers through opponents. Tyson didn't just show Joshua how to fight, he showed him how to think, how to anticipate, and how to harness that raw, terrifying energy that made him a household name. And for Joshua stepping into the ring with Jake Paul, that knowledge isn't just useful, it could be decisive.
And that's why you train so hard and work so hard, because you don't want to endure that feeling. Even though that feeling is a great feeling to bounce back from, it's still that feeling. You have to deal with it. And some people who
Then came Tyson's first words after training with Joshua. Simple, calm, but packed with impact. He spoke of discipline, work ethic, and tactical awareness, praising Joshua for his willingness to learn. And somewhere between the lines, he dropped hints about strategies that could turn the tables on Jake Paul. Subtle tweaks that could be the X factor no one saw coming. Tyson's mentorship was serene in tone, but Joshua's upcoming storm in the ring promised pure ferocity. The psychological effect is massive. Fans and media are buzzing with speculation. How will Tyson's ghost influence Joshua's performance? Could this be a mentorship that rewrites the playbook? On December 19th, all will be revealed, and the boxing world holds its breath. Will history remember Tyson as the ultimate guide behind a masterclass performance, or as a legend taking a gamble too far? The answers and exclusive insights are just around the corner.